When is the best time to apply for my visa? This is a question we get all the time, and today let's hope we can shed some light on this. So hello everyone, I'm David Fisher, Director and Founder, Principal Advisor for New Zealand Immigration Chambers, and giving you some advice today, general advice for the public about when might be a good time to apply for a visa, a work visa, or any other type of visa. Now, generally speaking, I'm going to be talking today about work visas and for applicants who are onshore. Now, onshore means you're in New Zealand and you are ready to apply for a visa, or you are thinking about applying for some type of work visa in the future at some stage. Keep in mind, first of all, that your personal circumstances are going to be different from everyone else's, and so that's why I always advise to contact a professional. Look into your circumstances deeply and try to find out a bespoke solution. But hopefully today we can give you some sort of general idea about when might be a good time to think about applying for a visa. Now, we'll talk about some general concepts, and then at the end of the video I'll have a little bit of a talk about what's coming up soon and the changes that are coming, and why you might consider applying now or waiting for changes to come through. So anyway, one of the first things you've got to do is check your visa expiry. Find out when your visa actually expires. Don't go off just the memory of, it's sometime in August. No, you want to check the actual date. Find out what is the date that your visa expires. You have until that date to apply, but you need to consider, secondly, what are the current processing times? Look on the immigration website. Immigration New Zealand has on their website, and they update this frequently, the current average processing times for visas. What you'll notice is that when you look at those numbers, those dates, the time frames, what they say is, for example, 90% of visa applications are processed within, and then there's a day or a month or a time frame. So your application might be one of those 90% and processed within a time, might be one of the 10% which takes longer. You could expect that it could even be shorter than that if your application is streamlined, if it's an easy application. You have to consider these things as well. But look at that processing time and take that into account along with your actual expiry. You want to consider if there are any upcoming changes to visa policies or your employment. Now, this is something I'll talk about in a moment, because currently, as of now, and we are still in January 2021, there are some big changes coming, and if you know that these changes are on the horizon and you know roughly when they might be coming in, you can make some decisions about whether now's a good time or whether it's better to wait. Considering timing, you might also want to think about whether there are other people in your organization who are applying for visas. Let's say you work in a small restaurant, and there's a chef, a restaurant manager, and maybe an assistant manager, a barista, and out of those people, maybe 2 or 3 of them also have visas and are thinking about applying for a visa soon. Some people have concerns that if too many people are applying all at the same time from one organization, that it may mean there are complications or potential complications for your application. Now, I can't say that that's the case or not, but I can say that occasionally we do see immigration officers raising concerns such as, look, we see that a number of people from your organization are applying for visas all at the same time. Why do you need to support so many migrants? Why aren't you hiring New Zealanders? This is something that can potentially come up if your visa category, your visa application is in that category, where labor market check is required, or if there's concerns about your employer being potentially someone who only hires migrants, and that there might be some concerns about migrant exploitation or a lack of efforts to train or recruit New Zealanders for jobs in that company. These are some things that some people consider. I can't necessarily say that it's a surefire problem that 2 or more people are applying at the same time, but it's something to consider. Now, speaking more specifically about today being January 2021 and the situation here in New Zealand with upcoming changes, these are the things that you might want to consider when deciding whether to apply now or later, and thinking that you may have a visa expiry date that is in the future many months. Now, we do know a few things about the upcoming changes. Number one, we know that changes are coming, okay? And this is a basic certainty, right? Changes are coming. Conversations that I've had with managers at immigration have indicated that June, July, middle of the year, we should expect the changes to be implemented. And another thing that we do know is that we do know, generally speaking, that there are that there's going to be certain types of policy changes implemented, even though we don't have the specifics of the policy posted yet publicly. Now, one thing that's going to happen is that all employers to support a visa, a migrant for a visa, a work visa, will require a form of accreditation. Now, I don't think people should be freaked out about this. I'll make another video about accreditation, but the accreditation process to support less than 5 workers in a year is not going to be as onerous as accreditation is today. It's going to be something a little bit more like a registration of the business, showing that they meet financial requirements or certain wage and time record keeping requirements. What is actually required will be released in the coming months, but I don't think people should be panicking, because it's not going to be something extremely onerous. However, it is something to consider if you have an employer who may not be the type of employer that's really keen and proactive to become accredited or to go through that requirement. You may consider that it's better to apply for your visa before that accreditation requirement comes in. Another thing which is likely to happen, and that is that the pay thresholds for certain levels or types of visas could increase. Now, we don't know what they'll increase to or whether they will increase, but this is like anything. Prices go up, not down, generally speaking. And I can't guarantee this, but there's been a lot of talk about an increase to $27 an hour for a 3-year visa. And this is based on, the median wage rates and statistics. And if you're worried that that could happen and that you might not be able to get this pay rate, then again, it might be better to apply early. Whereas if you are earning more than $27 an hour, maybe you're getting $30 an hour, $35 an hour. In your case, it might be better to wait. Who knows? Talk to a professional about it, because rather than jumping in the pool early and trying to get your application assessed before these changes, who knows? Maybe it's going to be better for you to wait it out. Because at the end of the day, if you apply early, you are going to lose some of your visa. You're going to shorten your visa period. Another thing, the third thing, which is reasonably certain about what's being implemented with these new policy changes, is that there are going to be region-specific labour market check requirements. And based on that, you might consider that you're living in and working in, or trying to live and work in a region where the labour market is actually tight or loose, and you might want to consider whether the labour market today is a good labour market that supports your application, meaning there are very few New Zealanders available to do the job, whereas later on it may be different. You may be living in a small town, and it's likely that after these policy changes are implemented, you may even not need to advertise the position in order to apply for your visa. So things may actually get easier for you, possibly. And this is something you might want to consider when thinking about whether or not now is a good time to apply for your visa. There are a lot of advisors and lawyers out there taking a blanket approach and just telling everyone, apply now, before any changes. This could be good advice for a lot of people, but I think what's most important is to consider your personal circumstances, and that's really the point I'm trying to get across here. Check when your visa is expiring, check the current processing times, consider the upcoming changes, consider your employment, the surrounding circumstances of where you're working, your pay rate, all of these things. And most importantly, guys, if you're unsure and you don't know what to do, come and talk to a professional, whether that's us or someone else. Make sure they're licensed, or if it's someone who's exempt from licensing. In any case, make sure there's someone who knows what they're talking about and that you're getting competent advice. And as usual, guys, good luck with your visa applications and all of your migration goals. See you next time.